Hi, I'm Tabitha Soren, and this is the Week in Rock. Trouble-plagued rapper and actor Tupac Shakur is dead at the age of 25, just about a week after sustaining 4 bullet wounds last Saturday night in Las Vegas. Shakur spent the weekend in the hospital on a respirator in critical condition. The Reverend Jesse Jackson, members of the Nation of Islam, and fellow Death Row Records artist Hammer visited Shakur's bedside on Sunday when he had one of his lungs removed. Shakur's mother, Afeni, featured in his Dear Mama video, and other family members kept a vigil at his hospital room in the intensive care unit of University Medical Center in Las Vegas. Early in the week, doctors rated Tupac's chances of survival at 1 in 5, then said his chances had improved on Tuesday, then on Thursday declined to speculate on his prognosis at all. Chris Connolly was on the scene to reconstruct the ultimately fatal events of last Saturday night.
I'm here in Vegas, where the most violent portion of Tupac Shakur's Saturday night was supposed to take place behind me, over there at the MGM Grand, where Tupac saw Mike Tyson pound Bruce Seldon into submission less than 2 minutes into their heavyweight bout. The fight ended around 8:55 local time, and from there, Tupac headed off to the home of Suge Knight, which is about 5 miles away from here. He's the head of Death Row Records. From there, they were to go to Club 662, that's Knight's club, for a celebration in honor of Tyson that was going to feature entertainment by people like Run DMC. But the caravan of cars from Knight's house never got to the club. Tupac and Suge Knight left Knight's home around 10:30 to go to Club 662. By 11:15 that evening, they were heading east on Flamingo, just coming to this intersection here at Koval. They were driving a black BMW 1996 model. Knight was driving, Tupac was in the passenger seat. Along the passenger side, right over here, came a late model white Cadillac. From inside, shots were fired, 14 of them. Tupac was hit 4 times, twice in the chest, once in the arm, and once in the thigh. Knight was mildly injured by some bullet fragments, but he promptly floored the car, spinning it completely around and took a U-turn so that it instantly headed west on Flamingo. With Tupac bleeding profusely in the passenger seat, Suge Knight was able to get his vehicle just about a mile away from the site of the shooting. Something of a miracle given his condition, the condition of his car, which had a flat tire, and the fact that the traffic on the Strip after a heavyweight fight in Vegas is something to behold. They made it to this corner here, Las Vegas Boulevard and Harmon Avenue, where they were finally pulled over by the Bike Patrol, who radioed ahead to paramedics who swept them off to University Medical Center. Their evening out in Las Vegas ending just a few steps away from where it had begun, the MGM Grand. Shortly before midnight, Tupac was brought here to UMC's trauma center, where he was immediately operated on, and then again about 20 hours later.
He's had a right lung removed. He's back in his room, and again, he remains in critical condition. He's in the intensive care unit.
Is he conscious? Can he communicate with his doctor?
He has been conscious. He is under a lot of medication. So he's pretty sedated at this time. He's severely injured. Suffering multiple gunshot wounds is obviously a terrible insult to the human body. So he's in very critical condition, and he's requiring intensive care, and he is receiving that right now.
Suge Knight, who was released from the hospital Sunday night, finally spoke with police on Wednesday and told them he, quote, heard something but saw nothing last Saturday night, leaving the cops with, as one spokesman put it, nothing, quote unquote, in the way of leads towards suspects or motives. Police also looked at security camera tapes from the Tyson fight at the MGM Grand, where Tupac and his entourage got into a scuffle with someone who was ruled out as a suspect since he was still held by security when Tupac left the building. Because there is a possibility of the shooting being gang-related, Vegas police have been in touch with Los Angeles police about 2 shootings in LA this week, and they've been in touch with police in New York City, for it was there that Tupac Shakur was shot 2 years ago. Tupac Shakur and Trouble were never strangers. Here now is a look back at his turbulent life and career. Tupac Shakur's public life began when he joined the seminal Bay Area rap ensemble Digital Underground, first as a tour dancer, then as a rapper.
Tupac, go ahead and rock this.
Now I clown around when I hang around with the underground.
Tupac demonstrated his range as a performer when his first solo record, Tupacalypse Now, was on the charts at the same time as his critically acclaimed feature film debut in the violent coming-of-age drama Juice.
If you want respect, you gotta earn it. You damn right. You gotta be ready to go down, stand up, and die for that shit like Blizzard did, if you want some juice.
While he maintained a thug image, Tupac was a man of contradictions, recording sentimental raps in support of black women, including Brenda's Got a Baby and Keep Your Head Up.
I know you're fed up, ladies, but keep your head up. Because I was raised by a woman half my life and then thrown to the streets, it's like I got the woman side, then I got real rough, manly values, like forced on me.
As Tupac's film credits grew with John Singleton's Poetic Justice, he faced the possibility of doing time for assaulting director Alan Hughes, who had dropped him from the cast of Menace to Society.
If I have to go to jail, I don't even want to be living. I want it to cease to exist for however long they have me there. And then when I come out, I'll be reborn. You know what I'm saying? I'll be taking less problems. And my mind will be sharper, and the venom will be more potent. You know what I'm saying? So they shouldn't send me there. They should really try to, you know, it's like you don't throw more gasoline on the fire to put it out.
What followed was a cross-country tour of courtrooms and jailhouses, 10 days in a Michigan prison for assaulting a fellow rapper with a baseball bat, an arrest for allegedly shooting 2 off-duty Atlanta police officers, in which charges were eventually dropped, and sexual abuse, sodomy, and weapons charges in New York City. The day before he was convicted of sex abuse in New York, Tupac was shot 5 times in the lobby of a Times Square recording studio. The crime was officially classified as a robbery, and the police dropped their investigation when Tupac failed to cooperate.
That situation with me is like what comes around goes around. Karma, I believe in karma, I believe in all of that. I'm not worried about it. You know, they miss. I'm not worried about it unless they come back.
While serving his sentence for sexual abuse, Tupac's 3rd solo release, Me Against the World, spent 4 weeks at #1.
It was a trip. Every time they used to say something bad to me, I go, that's all right, I got the #1 record in the country.
After 8 months, Tupac's case was appealed, and death row head Suge Knight promptly bailed Tupac out of jail and took the opportunity to sign him to Death Row Records.
If you come to death row, you will see your art brought to a bigger plateau, and you will be paid one of these days, death row.
Tupac turned his troubles into a career that was bigger than ever. His double album Death Row debut, All Eyes on Me, sold more than 5 million copies, scored a #1 single, and included tracks with new label mates Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre.
Out on bail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. Soon as I step on the scene, I'm hearing screaming.
With 3 years past since Snoop's last solo release and the departure of Death Row co-founder Dr. Dre to start his own label, Tupac became Death Row's artistic centerpiece, as well as its biggest mouthpiece. Death Row and Tupac shared a common enemy, the New York-based Bad Boy Entertainment. Tupac had earlier implicated Bad Boy producer Sean Puffy Combs and star artist and Notorious B.I.G. in his 1994 shooting.
Bad Boy Records. That's for Bad Boy Records. I love y'all.
But despite his taunts, Tupac realized danger could be around the corner. Back in New York City for this year's Video Music Awards, just 3 nights before he was shot in Las Vegas, Tupac surrounded himself with bodyguards and clutched a walkie-talkie throughout the evening as a security precaution.
We are businessmen. We are not animals. It's not like we're going to see them and rush them and jump on them. If they see us and they want drama, we're going to definitely bring it like only Death Row could bring it.
We also spoke this week with Ernest Dickerson, who directed Tupac in his big screen debut, Juice, and asked him what about Tupac might surprise people. Here's what Dickerson told us.
I think that he's very introspective. I mean, when we were shooting Juice, in between takes, he spent a lot of time by himself writing. You know, he thinks a lot. He thinks about what's going on in the world. He thinks about what's going on in the neighborhoods. He thinks what's going on in this country and around the world. And he talks about it in his music. And the thing that I always got from Tupac was that he was always thinking, always at work. His mind was always going.
Tupac Shakur recently finished shooting another movie called Gridlock, in which he and Tim Roth play heroin addicts trying to kick their habits. Described as a buddy film for the 90s, it's due out early next year. We'll pause to pay the rent now, but still to come on The Week in Rock, our Choose or Lose bus finds itself in the middle of President Clinton's motorcade through the heartland.
I think people do feel connected. Look, I think they feel like they're part of something bigger than themselves. I think they think the country is moving again.
Plus, REM takes you inside the unique